What's up, bitch? Welcome to the Starcraft Let's Play. We're going into the 4th Zerg mission and hopefully smashing out at least 3 maps before I call it quits for this video. But you know, that's not always easy to do, considering how often I must pause and explain in excruciating detail just how fucked everything is. And because I always miss some stuff, I should mention that I'd never really labored the point about resources being the objective in the 3rd Zerg mission that we just played in the previous video. And, you know, that... I gotta keep calling him Radio Fan. I think his name is Radio Flash or something. But, you know, he's a cool guy. And, yeah. He said something to the effect of... that they were never a factor, really, besides the... Marine noting that there was no gas in one of the missions. And, you know, they're just a means to an end. They're just a mechanic. You know, they're sort of explained in that tutorial all the way back in Rebel Yell. But really, there's not much of a reason for us to suddenly need 10,000 starting minerals. And it seems like, you know, developers didn't know what the fuck to do. They liked to play in those custom game modes where you play greed. And I guess that's like the victory condition there or something. But the whole thing is just a farce as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it's clearly not the right gameplay pattern that you want from an RTS. And this many missions in, when we're literally in the last 10 maps of the entire campaign, of the entire game, right? So we're most of the way through the project. You would expect that not only would the players have some conception of how to play the game, but the developers should not only understand the game, probably to a higher degree than the players, at least on a conceptual basis, even if they can't execute that. But the developers should also understand how to design for the game to promote the gameplay loop that this game is known for now. But like, it's Monday morning quarterbacking in a sense, where you're looking back and you're saying, hey, with hindsight, I can see all of these flaws. But honestly, I do think that it's on the onus is on the developers to figure out what may very well be a quote-unquote metagame, what may very well be the core gameplay loop of the game, right? And, you know, they built those terrible Melee maps, but Melee starts with the same, you know, as 4 starting workers, 50 resources, you do your thing, and that's fine, as far as I'm concerned. You know, I don't think that you needed to stray from that super heavily with the campaigns. We've had several conversations about what constitutes a reasonable set of pre-placed units and what constitutes a reasonable set of departures from melee victory conditions, which I would update and say should be destroy all like workers and production structures, perhaps. But I guess, you know, you can imagine with buildings in there, like, you know, people usually surrender before rather than like playing hide the nexus. So it would probably be fine to keep it the way it was. If you were able to implement some sort of AI surrendering system where the AI would know when to fuck off, which would probably just be emulated at the very least through triggers in these campaign missions where they would send some sort of surrender transmission or fallback transmission, sort of like what Duke does in the 3rd vanilla Zerg mission, all the way back when we're killing everybody with mutas. If you can remember that far back, he complains that his men are sorry bastards and tells them to fall back. So that to me is fine if they just did that for every mission, and they made it so that the AI obviously tried to compete with you in some capacity. It's possible to make AI that cheat with money to some extent, but don't do so in such a grandiose way where it feels, shall we say, like it's too obvious, right? Like, it's very obvious that the AI is cheating in all of these missions because they barely have workers. We kill other workers, they still attack us with 1 million units. They defend with 1 million units, I should say. They have all the pre-placed junk everywhere. These are all cheats. And like the ways that we can try to resolve these and the ways that we should avoid engaging with these concepts like pre-placed units and modified victory conditions from a melee compared to a melee game state. You know, I look at all that stuff and I see, you know, there's many ways that we could go. It's probably the better used as a subject for like a podcast or, again, just a long drawn out forum conversation or even a Discord conversation, and, you know, failing all of those other things. There's plenty of other mediums that work for it. I certainly don't think that I even have the time, let alone the patience per se, to sort of monologue about it for a long period of time. And I think that I would rather write something down, and I think that would yield a better conversation. So I do think that following this playthrough, I will be making a series of posts on the Frauds Club forum, and hopefully we can sort of grab them all under one banner and say something to the effect of like lessons from Brood War, lessons from the Brood War Let's Play, and maybe we can separate them into individual topics. Like one can be about gameplay, one can be about story, or one can be about mission design, and one can be about tech trees, or whatever the fuck. There's plenty of opportunities you could spiral out here, and I'm interested in opening that conversation up to people. But at this point, it's definitely something that requires way too much time to labor the point in the middle of a Let's Play series, even though it is a Let's Play series that is admittedly very long-winded in its commentary's nature, and that's fine. Without any further ado, let us play the Liberation of Korhal. Hoopthrower pointed out that I got 3 infested command centers and then didn't save, so I quickly cheated my way to having 3 infested command centers and made a save. So after we watch the briefing, I'll be loading the save when we get in game. The Liberation of Korhal. High orbit over the UED capital world, Korhal.
You have all performed superbly. Especially clusters are brimming with energy, and my broods are stronger than ever.
Then let's waste no time. Every moment we sit here means that the UED's defenses will be that much stronger, and I want nothing to stand between us and the retaking of my planet.
You're right, Arcturus. The time to strike the UED is now. But remember that we're up against one of the most heavily defended planets in the sector. Laying siege to Korhal won't be easy. Not only does the UED control a substantial standing army, but may have Zerg reinforcements as well. Raynor, you and Phoenix will strike at the more outlying fortification, while my forces are busy assaulting the main UED base at Augustgrad.
We've discussed this plan 100 times. Commence the damn attack.
Ha! Very well, Arcturus. Before the next sunrise, Korhal will be yours once again.
So the other characters are obviously just there to get complimented. Ugh, gross. You know what really boils my balls about this whole fucking setup too is just as soon as the UED show up here and establish dominance over the sector, they get fucking ran out. And talk about deflating the impact of everything. Now, you want to talk about a topic that we can go in real deep into the weeds with. Yesterday, in the recording of the previous video, I should say, there was a bit of a topic that I broached where I talk about breaking the winning streak. And one of the things that I didn't labor too much in that conversation, because again, it's very in-depth, is that you could just alternate perspectives between missions. And you want to make sure that you strike a good balance, like maybe you do a couple missions, maybe 3 missions per player, or per faction or whatever, in a row, you stick with the same thing, or maybe you alternate each individual mission, but you make each individual mission fairly lengthy, and so you can really sink your teeth into the experience. It's definitely something you need to strike a good balance for. You need to figure out exactly how you're going to handle the alternating perspectives, what that means for the story and the thematics in a low-resolution, zoomed-out view, and also how it lends and flows from one map to another. Like, does it feel like you've reached some sort of reasonable stopping point with the group that you're currently seeing the action from the perspective of? And does it feel like it makes sense to move on to whoever you're choosing for next, as well as does it feel like it makes sense to move on from the person you're with, right? So it's sort of like, you're almost like making a replacement in some capacity to what the player is experiencing, right? And so you got to decide, does it make sense to replace what they already have, and does the person you are replacing them with make sense in that capacity as well? So you got to do a 2-factor analysis in there, a multifaceted analysis, and setting aside the difficulty or we'll say the challenge associated with that possibility of your game design, I definitely think that providing a decent amount of skips or jumps or alternations within the linear story that you're experiencing can help with this sort of thing. But you've got to be careful that you don't invalidate the player's experience in the previous missions. If you play as Zeratul and you kill Zaz, and then you play as Daggeth and you revive Zaz, then you're invalidating the player's actions in the previous mission. And in this case, it's the same thing that's happened, except it's in the next campaign. It's in the very next campaign that we play as the UED, we do all of this work to completely take over the sector and control Zerg. And then we get, we make a big stink about securing the Psi Disruptor. An entire micro mission is dedicated to it, as well as a pretty meh macro mission. And then we get to the point where, like, again, that 2 out of 8 maps is not an insignificant amount of time. 2 maps is not that long, and these maps are not very, action-packed. They don't really give you a lot of content. But that's 1/4 of the running time. So 25% of the UED campaign is spent regarding the Psi Disruptor. And then there's dialogue regarding it in, a couple other maps or whatever. So it's certainly a focal point, and then we just, essentially eradicate it and write it out of the story almost immediately following. And that's like a very obvious example of this whole thing. But more zoomed out, you look at the UED's involvement at all, and they just get removed from the game after they arrived and after the player themselves is responsible for implanting them in power. That really rubs me the wrong way, because it completely invalidates the player's experience. It undoes the player's experience. And worse still, you're making the player the one who has to undo their own experience. I guess that might be more tolerable or more palatable to some people than unraveling their experience in a cutscene or something, in an area where they don't have any control. But it's not good. It's definitely not what you want. And that's more or less the main point I wanted to make here, because, I think we spent 2 missions on Korhal in the UED campaign, and in 1 mission in the Zerg campaign, we're going to retake it. And then in the next mission, we're going to fuck off our allies. So it's... The whole thing is just a very strange mess. And when you see the UED's reaction to this in the 6th mission, you're going to be even more perplexed than you might be already. Destroy all enemy bases. Well, at least that's an objective I can get behind. So I know what you're thinking. How could you? How could you? Wait, oh yeah, I've got to reload so I get my infested command centers. And yes, I have 3, just as promised. This is a pretty goofy map. Oh. Because I start with 10,000 minerals, so of course I'm immediately going to go ahead and drop the triple Evo chamber. I don't think we'll be making too much use of the... Hey. Oh, yeah. Oh, lunatic.
The UED has sent its pet Zerg to reinforce their troops. But strangely enough, there aren't very many Zerg attacking. Maybe the UED is having more difficulty controlling the Overmind than I thought.
No. I'm going to try to go for a quick Ultralisk Cavern, and I am going to need defilers. All the bunkers are pretty toxic, but what do you expect in this fucking game? Well, that's pretty stupid of me. Huh? So we'll just try to wipe out blue real quick. Oh. Oh, that's pretty funny. Fuck them up. Oh no. Not those. All right. We're a little bit a ways from our +1, but whereas they don't even seem to have range yet. It's always like hit or miss when they decide to give the AI pre-placed upgrades. I don't know why they're so like sort of fickle with that respect. Like it's just another thing that's inconsistent about the whole production. It makes it even more difficult to keep track of what the hell's happening. Anyway, we've wiped out most of the initial barracks or bunkers, so should be in pretty good shape here. We just keep slamming away at these units. We'll send some A drone out to secure some bases. Oh yeah, I forgot Blue's actually only got just random pre-placed shit over here. How confusing. There we go. Yeah, until I get some gas here, I'm not going to be in a great position to do too much about this, but it's okay. Alright, I'll just save up for Adrenal, because that seems to be the most reasonable thing to do right now. Of course, they've spammed bio at this point. Why is it gotta be this way? Save yourself. Wait for it. Again, they just have like all of these random things occupied. The most confusing part of it all. I try to get him. Oh, I have plague. Epic. Where'd my drone go? Oh, I think I sent him all the way back. All right, we'll actually do a quick round of drones, just because I want to make sure I'm not too far behind on my eco. Dude, fuck off, seriously. Stop it, Ahmed. Bad dog. Alright, we've cleared this out, which is, of course, our quote-unquote intended base to take first. Gotta take only the intended stuff. Alright. Our very fast Adrenal should definitely help us smash these guys. And I think this is all of the stupid frontal bases that they have. Although, they definitely have some shit in the bottom. Dude, when you see the sheer number of pre-placed nonsense on this map, you're gonna shit. Unsurprisingly. I mean, just looking at all the pre-placed stuff that you can already see, I mean, if you're not shitting, what are you doing? Go ahead and drop another hatch over there. Oh yeah, I guess I should just lift these fucking command centers off. I mean, they were only there because of 3, let's be real. I'm not actually using them. It's a lot of gas for shit I don't need. Oh, it's nice of them. They have these factories where they don't do anything with them. All they do is trade Ahmeds. Oh! Making a liar out of me. Got to transfer 3 workers. I don't know how many more production structures they have, but I'm pretty sure this is it for them. Maybe they have a couple of units somewhere else as well. At this point, I just need to make sure that I get enough gas. I'll go ahead and A-move down here as well to clean up whatever's left over down there. Looks like it's mostly Sunkens. And I'll go ahead and drop the Ultra Cavern. I think that's it. I still don't have access to lurkers, even though they do. It's like I've been getting kissed by lurkers for however long I've been playing this game in Brood War. Like, they've been using them. But if you expect us to be able to use them ourselves, you're goddamn wrong. Anyway, this should seal the deal for blue. White actually has like an insane delay on his attacks, which is pretty impressive. 3 Ultralisks. This is like what I would expect the first attack to be if you're gonna pre-place all this shit. I'm working on it, man. Oh yeah, I guess what I can do here is just drop another hatch right here. Try to smooth out that return rate. And once I get on 3 gas, it'll basically be over, because I'll just have an infinite supply. Go ahead and poke an orange's base now. I definitely am going to need more Hydras, though, because I'm pretty sure he builds a decent amount of air. We'll go ahead and check. Looks like this was taken as well. I guess I'll go ahead and get pneumatized. Oops. Start moving overlords in that direction. No, they don't have a bunch of air. They don't build a bunch of air, I should say. They just have some pre-placed air units. Destroyed, to be honest. Alright, we'll just mass up over here. And again, like, it's still important to get workers and mine resources, but it's not... Clearly, it's not a requirement in this mission. I'm actually gonna go ahead and drop... Oh, that base is shit. Let me just take this. There's no gas here, notably. So the AI doesn't actually start out mining a geyser. They have better bases, like, all over the place. Well, I guess a better base. Here, why don't you guys come down here and finish this shit off? Had to be 3 lurkers. Oh, perfect. Anabolic, and I'll get you guys over here. I can take one of you guys off as soon as I can start fucking clicking on you. Jeez. Oh, I'll just morph a million overlords and solve that problem forever. And I guess I'll take this base since it's a lot of minerals. Again, I don't really need the production or anything, but... Destroyed. Oh yeah. I should have gotten this upgrade a while ago. Alright. We'll go again. Have a decent number of units. And this is a situation where they pre-place the money for you for a change. And what do you know? You know, suddenly we don't have any worries at all. Like, just that all alone allowed me to get to the point where I have a thriving economy. And I wiped out an entire player already, super early into the game, especially considering his pre-placed armadas, right? Epic. Alright, I think I'll power on drones for a little bit here, because I am running kind of low on my coffers. Oh, they're dropping something at me. It's alright, I'm sure my hydras from here will intercept it at this point. Yeah, we're almost fully upgraded now. Halfway to tier 3 carapace. It's amazing in the stuff you can do when you don't have to worry about actually mining resources. And again, puts into perspective the level of power that the AI has, where they regularly start out with resources that are in the vein of 10,000 minerals. And this has just been expected from AI in Starcraft in custom content, and because of the fact that it was expected in official content. And I think that alone is pretty damning, unfortunately. Just go ahead and start rallying everything over here, because we're going to need to begin that. Oh yeah, let's check out my inaccessible mineral fields. I guess I won't be making too many more of those units. I don't think I'll need any of that shit, but... Alright, time to fuck White. Again, White has not attacked me at all yet, because he has the longest waits of any AI script in the game, I'm pretty sure, before he starts attacking. And I think before he starts upgrading a lot of stuff as well. Oh, I should probably bring my overlords. I mean, look at all of this shit, too. Like, you know he's got stuff. He's got pre-placed stuff, alright. Or maybe that's why they built the gas over there. So that you would be encouraged to bring your men over there or something, I don't know. It's like, hey, take this DK geyser. It's not a full DK geyser, though. Come on now. Alright. Actually, it's more important for me to get this extractor up, honestly. Or not really more important, but certainly more efficient. I'm not expecting any attacks from these Mongoloids anytime soon. Alright, I think I just hit tier 3 carapace if I didn't already have it. So, we are definitely in a powerful position here, and of course nobody's been in any position to strike us back. Well, they were in positions to strike us back, they just chose not to for some reason. Don't ask me why. And that's my last rally point, I think. Hey, fuck you, dude. Alright, let's go ahead and smash him. Again. Hey. Land your man, dude. Oops. Later, nerd. Oh. Hey. Get on gas, you guys. All right. We're in it, dude. Somehow my units are still attacking stuff down there. Not for very long, of course. Ahmed! It looks like they do have upgrades. I don't know if they or pre-placed those upgrades or what. And yeah, I do think I need to kill every building, but hard to say. Oh, I've conquered all their pre-placed shit at this point, so... Looks like we win another easy map that should not have been, well, should not have been. There you go. The fuck? You guys stuck? Valkyries, by the way. Yeah, I think maybe they were just pre-placed those upgrades. I could certainly be wrong. I mean, they had plenty of time to slack off on upgrades and still get to tier 2. Considering the fact that I kind of slacked off on upgrades and I got to tier 3 pretty quick, so... Yeah, I figured they would have some shit over here. It's like pointless static defense. I mean, I get the point in theory, but they don't end up using it. They just evacuate it. It's just useless structures, wasted minerals that they don't actually have to worry about in any capacity.
Cerebrate. The UED's defenses are broken. Arcturus, you may take possession of this world with my blessings.
Don't be snide, Kerrigan. This was part of the deal, remember? I've earned this. I am Emperor of the Dominion again. I'll be sending General Duke to establish my base of operations in Augustgrad.
I hope you make the most of your reign.
I don't understand. For one, they fucked up the text formatting of the dialogue at the end of the map, which is so lazy. I mean, okay, you fuck it up when you first put it in, and then you playtest it, and you see that it's fucked up, and you fix it. I think that's the only map where that's fucked up, at least the only map I've noticed. So that's pretty embarrassing. But even beyond that, you look beyond that for a moment. Like, what did Mengsk actually do to earn his reign again? He lent Kerrigan an SCV with an emitter. How does that exactly translate to him pulling the heavy lifting? Like, okay, he helped her out a little bit. That was it. Like, he helped her out of a bind. But why? Well, let's take a look at this base, this map. So, 3. I opened up the specific map that involves 3. You may not know this, but there are 6 versions of the Zerg, the 4th Zerg mission. Each one has a different number of infested command centers, with the first one having 0, and the second one having 1, and so on and so forth, until all the way up until 5 command centers. The reason for this is because, again, they didn't actually bother developing customized like bank data or anything, so when they gave you up to 5 command centers to infest in the previous mission, they had to make contingency maps, copies of the map, that bloated the game's file space, because you're talking about each individual map having its own set of sound files, even though they're all identical. That's their fucking idea of a reasonable product. So that's like it's an external thing in theory, but it's super embarrassing. And then I keep doing that by accident. But I am looking for the upgrades here. Yeah, player 7. I don't know who player, like, red doesn't even exist in this map. Yeah, player 1 has medic mana, but again, red's not even on this map. I don't know what the fuck. So yeah, player 7 starts out with medic mana and Karen boosters and vulture speed, ghost sight, and yeah, they start out with tier 2 upgrades at the beginning of the game. So that's player 7 right there. That's white. I didn't even bother looking at blue. I'm pretty sure he didn't have anything, but it's just the most embarrassing thing that you need. Let's take a look at the supplies again. Why not? Blue's at a mean 104 supply. Orange at a mean 91 supply. And then white at a staggering 98 supply. Surprising, actually, that he's got less than blue. But when you look at all of the useless, wasted bunkers that blue has, I guess that kind of colors that experience a little bit. They have so many bunkers. They also didn't, like, Blizzard themselves did not bother to modify AI behavior with bunkers very much. I mean, there's clearly some subroutine that runs with them because they do that insane thing where they load and unload a million times sometimes. But they didn't bother, like, to do some basic check. Like, if the bunker, or if the building that's under attack that I'm defending is the bunker that I'm in, or a bunker near that I'm in, maybe don't leave the bunker. Like, units leave bunkers to defend, including the bunker that they're in when their buildings get attacked. Like, you attack a bunker that units are in, sometimes they unload to defend that bunker. Because there's no QA at all with regards to this fucking hard code. And it's not like they made it malleable in any capacity. Like I said, it's hard code. So that's like the first level of embarrassment right there. And obviously that's just AI system based, right? Like something I wouldn't have expected from Blizzard themselves. Like I would expect better. I would if it wasn't Blizzard. So yeah, it's pretty frustrating. Again, all of these pre-placed units everywhere. I mean, what can you say? A very hyper-linear map. It actually opens up in the middle, which I think is fine. And decent number of expansions, also fine. Although the 3 mineral field one over here and the tons of inaccessible mineral fields throughout the map. Not over in this base. This base is actually really good, but and yeah, you don't even have any that are, forget inaccessible. All of them are easy to reach as well. Although your hatchery could be closer. Like again, so here's the other issue with pre-placing anything for the player, let alone the AI, is you got to know, like the player might want to do something differently. This is obviously an extreme example of literally not placing it close to the resources, but why would I build my other hatcheries over here when I could put one right above the geyser? I can't even do that because of the pre-placed sunken colony or creep colony, but if I had control of the resources required to place 4 hatcheries, a spawning pool, 2 creep colonies, and land 3 infested command centers, I would set up my base entirely differently. At the very least, I would have this hatchery closer. I'd probably have another hatchery up here like they have it. And then I would definitely have 1 hatchery by the gas, so I only have to have 3 workers in gas. And I would put my sunkens in more useful positions. But you remove the opportunity for the player to actually do something useful and own and, you know, take some ownership over and some responsibility for their base layout when you just pre-place a bunch of shit for them. It's one of the reasons why I'm mostly interested in the pre-building phase idea that a number of other RTS games have done, including Metal Fatigue, most hilariously. But I like the idea of potentially allowing players to, in the first minute of gameplay, spend, you know, maybe only the map makers would dictate the duration of pre-build, I guess, or you could like set it up, you know, pre-build time maximum would be a couple, like 2 minutes or something, or whatever, and then your pre-build amount of resources would be adjustable and stuff. I think that could work, and then, you know, the game basically plays as if you have an accelerated state where you can build a lot of units, or you can build units very fast, almost like you've got Operation CWAL running, and you just spend your starting resources any way you like, including putting structures anywhere you want. And maybe you get to pick from a specified number of bases as well. So it's like, all right, I can choose to build in my main, or I can choose to build in my natural, like, you know, something like that. You know, I think that would be much more player friendly and allow players to express themselves from the get-go without omitting the opportunity for pre-placed junk for the players in that sense. It'd be a bit more about player expression, I think. Which, if you're going to have some pre-placed junk in any capacity, I think is the way to go, right? You're kind of doing that for the AI when you're designing maps. You're deciding, like, where would this AI place these structures? And I think that's also fine, but it's just one of those things that I just don't understand why they went this route, where they pre-place shit in stupid ways, like this hatchery being away from where it should be, and a creep colony blocking pathfinding and stuff like that, so you have to blow up your own structures if you want optimal resource harvesting. All that stuff is just deliberately toxic to the player. Maybe you can argue it's not deliberate and it's just Blizzard are dumb and they don't realize it. But that's malicious incompetence because it's resulting in a malicious experience. An experience that is directly insulting the intelligence of the player and basically like wasting their time. Again, maybe not deliberately. Maybe it is them being stupid. But that stupidity results in a very negative, toxic experience. And it's the same thing to be said about pre-placed junk, really. So once again, on a map that I don't really have a lot to say on, but it was more ranting, so hope you enjoyed that. Let's get on with it. Mission 5. True Colors. Outskirts of Augustgrad, early morning.
Cerebrit, Duran, the time has come to separate the chaff from the wheat.
Blech.
Now that the UED's power base is broken on this world, only their forces on Char pose any significant threat to me. It's time to move to the second phase of my plan.
And what of your allies here on Korhal, my queen? What would you have done with them?
They are of no further use to me. Though they have proven themselves useful, it might be dangerous to allow them to live. Without the services of General Duke, Minsk will be easy to deal with. But Raynor and Phoenix are uncannily resourceful. They must all be eradicated. Cerebrit, I want both General Duke's and Phoenix's bases destroyed. Leave no one alive.
My queen, if I may suggest a strategy. Both the Protoss and Terran forces are resting after our previous victory. If we attack immediately, while most of them are asleep and unaware, we can whittle down their defenses with relative ease.
Clever. How long after our initial attack can we expect them to regroup and retaliate?
I'd say in 6 minutes.
That only gives us enough time to launch a surprise attack against one base, but it is a sound plan. Cerebrit, feel free to launch your initial attack against either base. Failure is not an option. Slaughter them all in my name.
They went super melodramatic with her dialogue, man. Holy moly. Every single line has to have a little bit of flair. More like, bleh. Not really much to say here besides the fact that it seems really goofy to execute this plan now. Particularly since Kerrigan's forces, the Cerebrit's forces specifically, were the ones who took the brunt of the assault in the previous mission, and now we're running out of our resource stockpile, so we don't have 10k minerals to start out this mission, and yet we're still opting into a 1v2, whereas the previous map was only a 1v3, so a little bit better. Of course, the other thing to mention is, how the fuck are the Terran and Protoss forces resting? What does that even mean? How could you say that they're resting? They did nothing. Like, unless we're to believe that they were engaged with battles on the other side of the map, on the other side of the planet, but that wasn't shown to us and wasn't even fucking told to us. So there's no establishment of why they would be resting. They are resting after landing on the planet. It's pretty tough, you know. Stepping over all the bodies of the enemies that we killed. Pretty calorie burning stuff, you know. You really gotta rest up after that. Destroy the enemy bases, kill Duke, kill Phoenix. Well, we know how we're gonna do this, obviously, but I might as well do the little bit of a speed run strat here.
How y'all doing?
I usually kill off the Terran, so I guess I can try to kill off the Zerg. Also, of course, they just set the HP to like 1% or whatever. I didn't bother selecting the units, but pretty sure it's done with the trigger. Fairly laissez-faire, innocuous way to introduce the player to lurkers in that respect, and we do get lurker aspect from the get-go. But we can't get any more. So how does this work, you might be asking? Well, basically, you get a series of bases that you can opt to destroy, and they only retaliate against you when you attack them directly. Like, so only, you can see I'm allowed to just walk over here and surround the photon cannon. Doesn't seem like even the photon cannon even wants to attack me, which is really weird. But I guess, like, what else would you expect? This zealot will definitely attack me. And this might also trigger the cannon, I'm not actually sure. Oh, I guess not. Alright, so we'll just walk past all this. Again, we don't have a huge amount of time here, so I am going to be a little judicious, but I am going to also build some Zerglings, and then I can move the base over here with those, if all goes well. Shout out to UED Commander who lies to everybody and says that 4 Zerglings can't beat a Zealot. I'm going to do it with a wounded Zergling, and check that out, dude. Can you believe that? That's pretty shocking. So yeah, you can definitely do this better than I am, but I have not actually done this in about 10 years, so... They're not even mining. Classic. M is the hotkey, by the way. Fucking M. Of all things. The idea that this would ever work, too, is pretty laughable. I guess I probably should have tried to prioritize speed a little bit sooner, honestly. Oh. Also, I guess I should be... Dude, the U key is ridiculous. Can't believe that's real. I guess I also could have gotten a queen or something to infest that, but who cares? Alright. So I will be sending some units out to expand over here.
All units prepare for retaliation. Kerrigan caught us with our pants down, but it's time to start giving some back.
Continue your attack, Cerebrid. Their defenses won't last long against us.
Well, that's definitely not as good as I usually do. I usually wipe out all of the Terrans, but having more or less hamstrung one of their bases entirely for the Terrans, you know, they only have 2 bases. I don't think the Protoss were even on more than 1 base, but I wiped out a lot of their production structures, so... See you, nerds. Yeah, that's rude and illegal. Utterly eviscerated. Kissed to death. And yes, this really is a real premise for a real mission. Just... Imagine the reality. Guess they just ignored my units. Oh, actually, I might have just lost, to be honest. Yeah. Epic.
What's up? How y'all doing?
The triggers don't even work correctly. Well, I think I'll just leave the Protoss there. It's probably way more efficient to kill all the Terrans instead. And yeah, I am gonna rush speed, actually. Roll down here real quick. I'll rush Hydra speed, specifically. Yeah, I guess as soon as they start burning, I can just leave because they don't repair their stuff, so... All right. I should have gotten Hydra speed, I guess, but whatever. We'll make do. Despite it all. Looks like the factory has some holes in it on the bottom. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be the shadow or... How many academies do you need, dude? Alright, let's go ahead and cross the bridge. Bridge of fucking death. I'm super slow on this, but I don't know what else you might expect. I am not a speedrunner. Just quickly destroy this. That's unfortunate that I didn't see that. Till it was too late. Thought I shift-clicked these clowns down here. Don't worry. Oh. That is unfortunate.
Continue your attack, Cerebrit. Their defenses won't last long against us.
I'm pretty sure at this point it's no-go, man. But that's alright. Go for some Hydras back at Homo. Oh, destroyed. Imagine just needing more minerals. Hilarious. Again, these hatchery placements are fucking killing me. Like, I would put the other hatchery where the spawning pool is pretty much. Not exactly where it is, because it wouldn't fit there, but... just goofy. Telling you, man. Looks like they're finally trying to mop these up. What's up, motherfucker? How embarrassing. Brain dead. This is autism. Oh, there you go. We lived this time. Just gonna be another boring-ass macro map now. Dude, they still haven't killed these lurkers. Holy tank! Holy tank! We might need to go mass air in this one, boys. The problem is we don't just need to kill their shitty fucking heroes. It's obviously super easy, just like 2 control groups of Scourge on Duke and a Broodling on Phoenix. Bigger issue is we have to kill their bases too, I'm pretty sure. I honestly don't remember though. It does say destroy the enemy bases, so I would assume that means we do not get a jail out of free card. And make no mistake, we are in prison right now. Oh, might help if I drop some evos. I'm getting the second one just in case I need to tech switch over to Mass Hydra or something. Fuck? Where is it? Oh. I was looking right here. What a fucking prank, dude. I was staring right at it, and it didn't make the sound, so I thought it was somewhere else. It's because I just barely missed it the first time. Let's go ahead and transfer some more drones. Getting a taste of my own medicine after the most recent Fraud Night. A classic move. Going double Spire. And yes, I will get a Queen and Broodling. I will grab missile attack just because I want to make sure that I keep my lurkers somewhat useful. Alright, looks like it's perfect now. That geyser is just the way Mutas doesn't would have wanted it. All right. Why do they not get cloak? This is embarrassing. Go ahead and drop a sunken over there to prevent that from being quite so ridiculous next time. Man. I mean, it's pretty funny, don't get me wrong, but still a little goofy. I guess I'll grab a couple of lings in the back just in case I need to defend against that shit. Come on. Come on, Tony. Holy fuck, dude. How long does it take? Get a single larva. Classic. And yes, this is a turret on a fucking island. Pretty much guaranteeing you here that we're gonna get cucked by epic map design. One of the main reasons why I just tend to avoid these shitty maps. Oh. So yeah, we'll just keep these Scourge in our back pocket here. Dude, what? Oh shit, I just got Scourged by accident. Look at this fucking pathing! Dude. My misery knows no fucking bounds. Dude, I mutas dozened myself, unintentionally. This is insane. Alright guys, I hope you're ready for some P micro. P! 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 Oh yeah, let's fuck that pylon, dude. That's an important target. Check this out, ready? Hey! Go mutiling, boys. Nice trio of fucking cannons. For no reason, of course. Oh no. Wow, they are slacking on upgrades, dude. I mean, I'm slacking on upgrades, but I'm already ahead of them. Pretty insane. Oh yeah, I should get a Carapace as well, I guess. Oh no! UD Commander says can't fight Zealots! What's even going on over here, huh? Oh, I see some blue. Oh. They don't have shared vision with each other? How embarrassing. I like how they're not even bothering to build most of their units. They just have Zealots and Dragoons and some pre-placed scouts. And of course, photon cannons. Who could forget those? Also, all of my Zerglings are getting eaten by something. Some mysterious force is devouring every single one of them. I'm not sure what it is. Must be my lack of upgrades. I just need to get so many more Zerglings is the problem. I mean, I have nothing else to spend my money on right now. Even though I'm mining like a Mongol. I wonder if 4 Zerglings can kill photon cannon. I don't think UAD Commander will ever live that one down. To be honest. Oh yeah, I still don't have access to Devourers. Fuck them up. Alright. This will be my Guardian control group. Hey. What's wrong with you? Unfortunately, I didn't get Ventral Sax, or I would unironically take that Island Expo. Alright, Queen, you're up. Homie. Oh no, a Reaver!
We were fools to have gone along with this charade.
You're right, Phoenix. I used you to get the job done. And you played along just like I knew you would. You Protoss are also headstrong and predictable. You're your own worst enemies.
That's ironic. I can remember Tassadar teaching you a very similar lesson on Char.
I took that lesson to heart, Praetor. Now, are you ready to die a second time?
The Kala awaits me, Kerrigan. And although I am prepared to face my destiny, you'll not find me easy prey.
Then that shall be your epitaph.
Phoenix! No.
What are you worried?
That was a quick time event, by the way.
You died the way all Protoss hoped to. In combat.
He died because you betrayed him. How many more noble souls do you need to consume before you're satisfied? How many more people need to die before you realize what you've become?
You don't even know what you're talking about, Jim.
Don't I? I'll see you dead for this, Kerrigan. For Phoenix, and all the others who got caught between you and your mad quest for power.
Tough talk, Jimmy. But I don't think you have what it takes to be a killer.
It may not be tomorrow, darling. It may not even happen with an army at my back. But rest assured, I'm the man who's gonna kill you someday. I'll be seeing you.
Man, every time he says, I'll be seeing you, I die a little bit on the inside. I'll be seeing you, homie. Oh, you'll be seeing me, huh? Well, I'll be seeing you. Let's get this gas. I'm sure they won't have any, Wait. Where's their man, anyway? Oh, yeah, he's over this fucking Todd Forsaken hut. I don't know what's going on there. Hi. I see one SCV is gathering over here. It's pretty cool.
If it isn't little Kerrigan, I had a feeling we'd be meeting each other again. You got a lot to answer for, little girl.
General Duke, you know I always wanted to have you killed. This is kind of exciting for me.
Do your worst then, girl. You ain't taking Edmund Duke without a fight.
No? Okay. I just need another round. Told you it was gonna be 2 dozen. Oh, I can go ahead and take this base too. Hey. Oh wait. Fuck. What a prankster. Well, it turns out Muta Guardian is actually not too bad on this map. I was not expecting that to be the case, yet here we are. So I'm working on it, okay? Oh, that's why my Scourge control group was accidentally the same hotkey as my Guardian control group. I was wondering what happened there. Alright, we'll go ahead and mop up the rest of these clowns. We don't have to worry about Valkyries since we're not fighting against UED, so... See you, nerd.
Kerrigan, you murdering bitch. We had a deal.
Oh, come on, Arcturus. Did you really think I'd allow you to come into power again? You practically fed me to the Zerg on Tarsonis. You're directly responsible for the hell I've been through. Did you honestly think I'd let you get away with that?
But you said revenge was secondary to defeating the UED.
I lied. I liberated this planet because it was the UED's primary staging point, not because I was under any obligation to you. I used you to destroy the Psi Disruptor. And now that I've got my broods back, you're no longer necessary for my plans. I think I'll leave you here, Arcturus, among the ashes of your precious dominion. I want you to live to see me rise to power, and I want you to always remember, in your most private moments, that it was you who turned me loose in the first place.
Well, now we just have to mop up this shit. So our, Wait, Hive Cluster under attack? What could that possibly mean? Oh, just Wraiths. Nothing serious then? Alright. More mutas then. More lings. And we'll just go ahead and mass outside the Terran's base here, since they seem to be pretty geriatric. Shit. Well, another spore colony will do fine, I think. And yeah, at this point, we should be all set. There's not that much that they have left, just like one more gateway it looks like, and these two Stargates over here that they're uneven building from. Not too many of those cannons lying around anymore, it looks like. I didn't even bother getting Storm, also it looks like. Which is pretty puzzling. Alright. We're gonna lose all this shit to tanks pretty much, but hopefully it softens stuff up in the meantime. Yeah, so we should be clear of Protoss unless they rebuilt some shit in their main. I'm just going to go ahead and hope that that's not what they did. And so far, we're actually not losing too much to tanks, surprisingly. I'll go ahead and help pick this off. Another thing AI don't do that it seems pretty brain dead obvious that they should, is they never actually bother to reclaim any add-ons that they may have lost, or even that their enemies may have lost. Like if there's an add-on that is in the, like, assigned to the same base or like in the same region as where they're building, you'd think that they should just like find that stuff, be able to search that stuff, and then, you know, if they get a request for building a specific structure that is that could bind to that add-on, why wouldn't they? Battlecruisers are killing me. It's alright. This is more or less run its course at this point. So yeah, that's a pretty unfortunate, confusing, and just like it's another example of everything being fucking lackluster with having very little impact. Hey, I've got 10,000 minerals. Can I win the third Zerg mission again? Where did those battlecruisers go? Oh, there they are. There's one of them anyway. Hopefully these can kill this, because I don't feel like building any more units. Yeah, it looks like we're fine. I'll just kill that. And that. Oh. That. That's just an add-on.
It is done, Cerebrid. They've all been destroyed. Let us return to Tarsonis to rest. For the first time since my transfiguration, I'm wearied of the slaughter.
I'm wearied of the whole fucking thing, man. I'm really worried of the fact that it took me almost an hour and a half just to get clear through these two missions. I mean, my videos haven't been that much longer than an hour and a half. Like, sometimes they've gone a little bit over 2 hours or whatever. I try to average them out around this length. And in this particular case, I actually have it hard out anyway, so I can't do anything other than the editor review for this map. But it's just so weird to me that these missions end up being so much more grindy. Like, think to all of the missions that we've played thus far. Before we go into the editor review for this map, think about the first one being a micro mission. Okay, that's pretty quick. The second mission, yeah, I kind of botched the opening. I could have cleared it a little bit quicker. All right, whatever. The third mission is like grind or AFK and mine resources. So either way, you're losing out on a lot of money. And the fourth mission and this mission that we've just played is a lot of A-moving a bunch of pre-placed junk. I mean, the third mission was that too, but all of the missions have been that. It's much less simple to clear through all of this shit than in some of the other maps. And generally speaking, I was able to, cheese some of the other missions as well, which maybe I could have done like I said, I could have done the opening of this particular map more efficiently, I will say. It's just the whole thing is so lackluster. Not to say anything about the lore ramifications of this mission where we just kill two characters, but we do so in pretty unsatisfactory, unsavory ways, and it doesn't even feel like they earned their defeat. I mean, they didn't earn their life in the first place. They didn't really justify their point in the story. But it's not like they made a bunch of choices and then, like, I guess they trusted Kerrigan, which is a pretty stupid move. But it feels like they come out of nowhere anyway because they're not in any of the previous missions as, like, forces. You know what I mean? I don't even think we saw Duke up until this point in the entirety of the map. At least we controlled Phoenix. And then, we killed him 2 maps later, but there's some connection there, I guess. Whereas Duke, I don't even think he was in this campaign ever. That's really stupid. It's like they wanted to kill a character, but they didn't want to kill Minsk, and then they remembered Duke existed. Let's bang this editor review out real quick, and then I can go homo. Looking at this fucking mess of a base, I guess real quick we'll take a look here. So the Hydrosten is blocking optimal gas harvesting, and the spawning pool, had it been moved down 3 digits or whatever, 3 tiles, would have given us the opportunity to get more optimal mineral harvesting. And that's just another case like in the 4th mission where they almost deliberately are fucking with you by making it so that, like, no, okay, if it's a creep colony, I could destroy that. Nobody's in their right mind is going to fucking destroy a spawning pool. It costs 200 minerals and a crazy amount of time to make. And the Hydroden is also pretty important in that it costs gas, and you don't have a lot of that at the beginning of the game, so you don't want to be undoing work that you could otherwise have. You know, it's like I would actually rather start with nothing, just like a hatchery and 4 drones at this point, so that I can at least set my base up in a way that I'm not having to undo work from other people. Of course, the sheer number of pre-placed junk, I mean, does it surprise you at all? We're looking at 150 pre-placed supply for player 1, which obviously includes all the battlecruisers and stuff. He's actually got 4 pre-placed battlecruisers, if you could fucking believe that. 4 of it. And, yeah. Pretty crazy stuff. And 106 pre-placed supply for the Protoss player. Obviously, he's got even less. He's got less bases, so like a lot of that stuff is like he's got 3 probes on one base. He's got 5 probes on another. Whereas the Terrans have 5 SCVs, 4 SCVs, and 2 SCVs. So 11 supply from Red. Brings them down to 139 combat supply. Again, not counting dropships or whatever. I'm not going to count that shit. And then 106 minus, what was it, 5 and 3. So that gives them 98. It's just a lot of supply to hand the player, the player's enemies in this particular case. I mean, even we as the Zerg, right? I think this is player 6. So we have a decent chunk of supply because you got to factor in the 6 supply from the lurkers. So we actually start out with 25 supply at the beginning of the game, and obviously 42 max supply, which is a lot. Like that's a pretty big cushion for you to just slam out units if you want to. And classic. Love those. DK geyser. Inaccessible mineral fields. Oh, inaccessible mineral fields. What a mess. Don't make me look at it. Please spare me. Why does Blizzard do this to us? Why we have to suffer? So yeah, I mean, level design was a little bit more interconnected than some of the other levels, but all of the bases started out under the domain of the enemy, even if they didn't have a base there. The Terrans had a base in 3 out of 3 bases that you could take on their side. Protoss had a base in 2 bases and then had 3 photon cannons in the 3rd. So you really didn't have much of an option but to obey the gimmick of the mission. And the gimmick of this mission also, obviously, of course, makes a laughingstock of the military. And so the whole thing should just be thrown out. Like, it's just a shit map. Needs to be gotten rid of. Don't get it at all. Really ought to have been retconned out of history well before I ever got to the point where I was playing it. And if you don't think that that's high-end analysis, I don't know what to tell you. Well, that's been it for episode 13 of the Brood War Let's Play. I hope you have enjoyed. We are going to be going into the 6th mission. Remember, there are 10 missions and a bonus mission, so it looks like we might actually have to go even beyond 3 parts if they all end up being as long as they have been. But I've been able to do these fairly regularly, so before too long, we'll be done. Thank fucking Christ. So join me next time where I play the mission where we get introduced to Devourers in a map where the enemy doesn't even use very many air units. Bye.